I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election.
Oh, sorry, not sorry. The fact that that man could have been vice president is truly terrifying. Billions in fraud allowed under his watch, committed by his beloved constituency, fraudsters in the Somali community. Now, more on that embarrassment in a bit, but of course, he's not the only one whose we've had to say adieu to.
Good night. Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I love that. Venezuelans are still celebrating all across the world tonight with their illegitimately elected autocrat gone. They now have a real shot at freedom at last. And for those crying that we're at war with Venezuela, President Trump told the NBC News outlet tonight that we're not. Instead, we're at war with the people that sell drugs. We're at war with the people that empty their prisons into our country and empty their drug addicts and empty their mental institutions into our country. We're not occupying Venezuela. Our military was in and out. Now, the Delta Force conducted a daring drop-down in the wee hours of Saturday morning after weeks of practicing the raid in an exact replica of the Maduro compound. It's fascinating. They stormed into Nikki's inner sanctum, scooped him up and his wife, and lifted them out, and they went to the USS FAFO, with none of our guys getting killed. Stunning.
Our warriors are the elite of America. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off.
Well, that's the truth. But was this operation really about the 5-year-old indictment against Maduro for drug trafficking? Well, what's my view? It's the great American clawback. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, for any of you who thought that President Trump had been too soft in countering the threats posed by Russia or even China, the move against Venezuela's strongman should put your doubts to rest. In fact, taking Maduro into custody, I argue, was quintessentially MAGA. Now, why? Because Russia has been huddling with Venezuela for years. Maduro's worked with Putin to skirt oil sanctions and a lot more. And as for China, going back to the Hugo Chavez days, China needed oil for its economic expansion. Venezuela needed cash. So, back in the early 2000s, the two countries struck a trade partnership that would yield more than $100 billion in financing promises from China in exchange for Venezuelan oil. The Chinese money financed railways and power plants, gave Caracas much-needed cash, wrote the New York Times. So, what's next now for China's great trade deal with Venezuela? Well, guess what? Now we're in the driver's seat. A pro-China media outlet writing that the U.S. move calls into question China's future financial commitments in Latin America, potentially hurting Beijing's regional strategy. Oh, I love that. And how delish was it that Chinese officials were meeting with Maduro right before he was taken into custody? I love that. Now, the fact is, Trump's move was a needed global reset for the United States. It's a clawback of power squandered over decades by D.C.'s Uniparty, which allowed our adversaries, most notably China, to get stronger economically and militarily, even in our own backyard. Now, it's going to be impossible for us, the United States, to keep America safe and strong if we do not first secure our own hemisphere from being infiltrated and ultimately dominated by hostile powers.
This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be used as a base of operation for our nation's adversaries and competitors and rivals of the United States.
Now, of course, Democrats, apparently they're just happy to have Russia and China exerting influence in our hemisphere. Their reaction to the capture of Maduro was predictable.
There's no question that the mission itself, the execution by our military was flawless, and we should applaud that. But the more important questions to me right now are, should we have done this, and what comes next?
He went on to talk about Iraq, and a facile, inapt comparison.
This isn't a country that's on the other side of the world. This isn't a country like where you have to travel 24 hours in an airplane. This is Venezuela. It's in our area.
There is no war against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying a country. This was a law enforcement operation.
Then perhaps the dumbest question of the weekend came from Kristen Welker.
If the purpose of the operation was to capture Maduro and bring him to justice, why does the United States need to take over the Venezuelan oil industry?
We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. You have to understand, why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Bingo. It's time we all started living in the real world. And by the way, it's not 1996 any longer. It's clear that if we allowed China and other bad actors to have an operating hub inside Venezuela, our own security would be jeopardized. And it's not just about the oil or the minerals. It's just also about the geography. Yeah, the drugs are a concern, but frankly, because Trump so effectively locked down our border, it's not the main concern. It's bad enough that we allowed Cuba to exist as a communist satellite state for, 60 years plus now? But Trump knows allowing this to happen in a country like Venezuela? That would be calamitous. As it is, China is refusing to leave Panama, which is terrible for regional stability. So this raid is a warning shot to China, which seemed to be taken off guard here. Of course, Donald Trump will never totally close the door to diplomacy. He gave Maduro every chance to surrender. And he's using diplomacy everywhere he can to solve conflicts and avoid conflicts. In fact, some of us bristle sometimes at Trump's overtures to China, my friend President Xi and all that. But Trump's playing chess here. To counter China's move for global dominance, we have to get stronger. So the clawback means we're rebuilding our military. Hegseth's working on that. We're securing our own hemisphere. That's Rubio, Venezuela. We're rebuilding our industrial policy with tariffs. That's Greer and Lutnick. And we're growing our economy. Scott Bessent, thank you. So the way we beat, remember, the USSR was by beating them economically. Grew our military, but we were strong as an economic power. They just couldn't keep up. So in 10 or 20, even 30 years from now, we will not be free if China is calling the shots in our own hemisphere. So tonight, I'm telling you this. Pull up a chair. Watch this unfold. It's going to be a little risky, maybe at times bumpy, but Trump is the only rational path forward. That's what he's offering us. Other foes of America should be looking over their shoulders tonight. The great American clawback is underway. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.